Welcome back, everybody, to Creating Character, the podcast that is a spin-off of a podcast that was never canceled and is now honestly way more successful than the initial podcast originally was. It is a cross-section of what used to be weird and what's still weird and what the future will look like when it's also weird, aka our careers. I want to introduce my co-host, Scorpio Sky.
Gold Dust.
My God.
It was a bad Gold Dust. Gold Dust was dope.
Gold Dust was dope.
So good.
Gold Dust was dope.
One of the best characters ever.
Speaking of best characters ever, I also want to introduce our producer,
Yeah.
Eric Bador.
Hi.
Do the Gold Dust thing.
Hang on. Wait.
Right at the air.
Ready?
Yeah.
Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah. One last ride.
He
Yes.
actually has a wrestling school just north of Austin.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen he's got some good students out of there.
You signing up, Eric?
Yep.
You gonna join?
Yeah, I'm gonna get in there. I don't bump, I don't sell, I don't lose.
Wow.
You're ready to go.
Wow.
I know tons of people
Holy
that
cow.
do that.
Don't look at me when you say that.
Not you. I'm sure you know people that when you walk up and you go, "What do you do?" And they go, "I don't bump, I don't
It's like
sell."
I know tons of people that don't do any of that. I'm like sitting at home.
I'm kind of more of like a giver wrestler.
Hey.
I kind of just like
What?
give.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. We really set this up
We're out there,
very, very well.
I assume we're going to talk about something this week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Eric sent out a whole document. We're going to disregard the whole thing.
I
and we're
didn't
go in a
look at
completely
it.
Come
different
on.
direction.
I did.
I want to talk about something that happened to me this weekend, just to start to grease the gears of this conversation.
Please.
I went to Summer Game Fest Play Days, Sky.
Play days.
Ooh.
How does that sound?
Are
you jealous? If you
I-
had to guess what it was, what do you think it is?
Summer Game Fest Play Days. Okay, so I assume it's something that happens in between May and September.
Correct.
I assume it's some sort of thing where a lot of people get together
Also correct.
that enjoy video games or some form of games and play days. Do they play together on these games?
You sound like an old man.
Do they play together on the games?
The Statler and Waldorf of
Put
video
down
games.
that damn video
I mean,
game.
Essentially, you're right. Do you know what E3 is? Did you ever hear about E3?
He's a wrestler, right? On the Indies.
I guess, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Technically, you're just missing a letter.
What are you laughing? Did you spit some?
He spit some. Eric spit something over there. So E3 was like a major electronic expo that took place every single year, generally in Los Angeles at the convention
Oh,
center.
I think I wrestled at that once.
Did you? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds familiar.
So it was a huge event, and basically Nintendo, Xbox, Sony, they bring PlayStation, they bring everything.
Atari.
I mean, maybe at some point. Atari still exists.
It still exists,
It
right?
still exists,
Neo,
yeah.
Was it the other one? Was it Neo Geo?
Neo
that a
Geo
thing?
was a
Uh-huh.
game, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a game console. It was
Yeah.
expensive, though.
It was expensive.
was
I
very
remember that as a
expensive.
kid.
But it could play arcade quality games. I'm getting distracted.
I'm sorry. That's me.
E3 was this huge event, but it ended up being so big, and it was a PR event. People would trot out their new games. If there was going to be a new Xbox or a new PlayStation, this is generally where you'd hear about it first. And then as YouTube became more of a thing and media influencers changed, there was less of a need for that. You could just, if you were Nintendo and you wanted to tell someone about a new game that's coming out, you'd be like, here's a YouTube video, right?
Yeah,
We'll
that
just go
makes sense.
directly to you. That is a whole nother discussion about what's happening to games journalism and media coverage in that space. But ultimately, E3 went away, and in the void of that, this new thing came from Jeff Keighley. Do you know who Jeff Keighley is?
I sure don't.
Jeff Keighley is like the godfather of gaming on the media side.
I'm gonna make you a game you can't refuse.
That's exactly how
That's
he
a
sounds.
bad
Pretty good.
That's
Way to go,
exactly
man.
how he
Never
sounds.
even
You're
saw the
keeping up.
movie.
You're
Yeah.
doing good.
You've never seen The Godfather?
Never seen The Godfather.
You
What?
skipped right to 3.
Never seen Star Wars.
You've never seen any Star Wars?
Never seen any Star Wars.
That's just, I mean, I don't care. I think it's more impressive that you haven't seen.
Yeah,
you
no
managed just to
kidding.
avoid them.
Just
like,
never got around to it. I've seen Mean Girls several times though. Watched it twice on one flight.
The
once.
Tina Fey original or the musical remake?
The original.
Did you see the new one?
No.
Okay. Well, all right.
I'm sorry. Get back to your story.
Anyway,
I keep
no, this is all related. So a bunch of nerds get together with me being there. So Jeff Keighley is this guy, and he took it upon himself. He said, we still need a place. People that love video games still need a place to come together and share their love of video games with devs who want to show their games off to the people that care the most, and created this thing called Summer Game Fest. It's a 2-hour show on a stage down by SoFi Stadium where they premiere new trailers and they showcase all kinds of new games, and developers come out and they showcase their games. It's a celebration of everything that is yet to come out this year, or it's announcements for new Call of Duties. I know you love NBA 2K.
Love it.
I'm sure there would have been some sort of announcement there, but those are so systematic. They don't really need to do much advertising. But if a game does want to build hype, this is the place to do it. And then Playdays is a 3-day event that takes place afterwards in downtown LA, where people like myself, the beautiful people, can go and meet with the devs and play these games that might not be out for a year or more.
Oh, you're exclusive.
And play them and see stuff and see behind the scenes previews. So that's what I did on Saturday. Was I went with my wife and we went and hung out with a bunch of devs, and it's a cool compound. There's a bunch of different buildings. And do you know Capcom?
Yeah.
Okay, God. It's like you never had one conversation with Kenny the whole time you were there.
I don't think I have.
Except on our show.
Outside of wrestling.
Yeah. Well, he would know. He was in it. He was actually in the Summer Game Fest showcase as a bunch of Street Fighter characters.
I may have seen that. He looks like a Street Fighter character, actually.
None of this really matters, but it's a cool place where you get to see stuff that is coming down the pipeline, games you were interested in, and games that I'm interested in. And that's where I went on Saturday, and it was super hot, but it was really fun talking to devs and meeting people. And they also will say the game is about the 90s, growing up in the 90s. Maybe they'll take the room that you're in and they'll put wood paneling on it, and they'll put retro stuff all around. So they'll like create a vibe for you in the space that matches it. And we also got to see some behind-the-scenes stuff. We got a little preview of some games that are coming out soon, and then they made us sign NDAs and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
you got to sign that NDA.
Sign the NDA. So, but it was really cool. Important. It was really fun. And
sounds dope.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm trying to think of something because you've obviously been to wrestling conventions and stuff like that, so it's similar, right?
Not really so much, obviously, as of what's to come, but like I can picture it. Like it sounds cool.
Yeah,
I've gone to like things like that with like movies and TV, the upcoming stuff. So yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm gonna talk.
You know what it was kind of like? You went to that Fresh Prince thing, Sky.
Yeah, that was fun.
This was very similar, like a preview to all this stuff coming out or whatever. James, did you work on anything that was being shown there at Summer Game Fest?
No, there wasn't, but that I know. I mean, I want to talk to you about it too, because I'm interested if we can find some sort of comparison between what you do and what I've done. But it was interesting because you're watching all these video game trailers, and you think of video games as it's Mario. He runs from left to right and he jumps and throws mushrooms. Or in your case, it's you're playing basketball, right? Yeah. But there's these games that have cinematic stories and dialogue.
Oh yeah, I've seen some stuff like that. It's amazing. It's like
so
a movie.
deep. There's games, they have a whole game that's been out already and called Fallout 76, and they had a whole trailer to announce that they're adding fishing. Like you can go fishing now in the game.
I've seen video game trailers that I swore were movies, and then when I found out it was a video game, I was disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn, I want to see this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you could go online, and there are certain games that I have known that I'm not going to actually play, and then I'll go online on YouTube and I'll find someone who has played it like a movie.
Oh wow,
which you can do.
That's pretty dope.
It's just a really long movie.
Yeah. I think I saw like a Batman one or something like that where I was just like, yo, I want to see this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a video game.
But it was impressive to me because there's so much story, and I write. So I've written several video games, and it's wild because as a kid, I grew up thinking, oh, I want to write movies and TV and stuff like that. But now as an adult, I'm kind of more interested in games right now. We're getting Star Wars, we're getting Marvel, we're getting all these, everything's an IP or a franchise, and I know there's no way to just like slide into that world, and I'm not even sure I have a good idea or would be capable of making something great for that world if I had the opportunity. But games, it's like I saw this game called Clockwork Revolution, and now stay with me. Steampunk. But cool.
Steampunk.
You know what steampunk is?
Is that a new wrestler?
It could be.
It's like is it like steampunk? Is it like okay, so there's a couple different ways you can go with this. Is it like, because I don't know, for some reason when you say steam, I think a tugboat, like right, but like CM Punk, maybe
So,
like in a tugboat outfit. This is stupid. I don't know.
No, this
why
is
I'm doing
great
it. Like,
because I like.
I'm ruining the story. It's not interesting.
I'm going to pass the ball to you,
No.
and then I want you to confuse me. But one of my favorite things about this podcast is how I can go on a diatribe, and then it builds a little tree of like offshoots because you go, "What's steampunk?" I go, "Okay, all right."
Yeah.
Imagine the worst thing you've ever seen in your whole life. That's steampunk. Steampunk is like a cross section of what? Early 20th century, like dudes in top hats riding on bicycles with large front wheels.
Oh yeah.
But if they had discovered more advanced technology at the time than they had, but it was all steam powered. So whereas we use electricity to record this podcast, they would have someone pumping a thing, and we'd all be wearing top hats with goggles, and steam would come out the back of our cars.
Yeah, it's sort of like what if a jet ski was powered by clocks? Is what steampunk is to me. So it truly is the worst of the worst. I made that sound cooler than what steampunk really is.
It does kind of sound cool, but I know what you're talking about with the top hats and the big mic wheels.
Yes,
the aesthetic. It's that whole aesthetic, and
I'll see that on YouTube pop up a lot.
Probably.
Yeah,
it's your algorithm hitting you with what you need.
Well, it's always those videos where it's just like 15 facts you didn't know or whatever, and it's like old stuff. Like, yeah, those are interesting.
Anyway, we're off on a branch of a tree that I planted years ago.
Yeah.
All this to say, I see a trailer for a game that's steampunk, and I go, that looks stupid. And by the end of the 2-minute trailer, I'm going like, man, it must be fun to work with. Because they created this whole world, and there's so much going on, and there's so many characters, and you have to have, since games are inherently interactive, this is something I've worked with as a video game writer. We're having this conversation, and all those branches you have to kind of predict as you're writing the game, because a player may walk into the room and you want them to talk to the guy behind the desk, but they're like, no, I'm gonna go wander off to the right, and you go, okay, well, if they do that now, how do I wrap them back into the story?
Yeah,
you have to think of all those options, and it's really, really interesting. All this to say, Eric, how am I segging out of this?
Oh, hey, watch this.
What's next on your list?
Sky, here's the thing. When you're putting together a story for a video game and you're trying to take the audience on a journey, you have an idea about how that stuff goes. What's it like putting together television wrestling in a similar manner where you're trying to go match by match, not give everything away at the beginning, and go piece by piece to build something, to put it all together, to have one cohesive story that you just told?
I don't know. I'm on the couch. Ask one of them motherfuckers on TV.
He's like, if I knew
could
that,
call
I wouldn't
somebody
have a
if you
podcast.
want.
Call Willie Mack and see what he says.
Yeah, let me call Willie Mack, see what he...
We'll just bleep the whole thing.
No. Man, there's a lot that goes into it, because they there's obviously an idea. I think that one of the things that gets me about it, and this is not an exclusive to my company thing, I think this is kind of everywhere, where sometimes you don't get the full picture, right? Like you think of it as far as shooting a movie, right? If you're shooting Batman, you're pretty sure, you can be pretty certain that Batman is going to beat the Joker at the end of the movie, and yada, yada, yada. But if you've never heard of it and they're filming just this one scene, you're kind of blind and you don't know where it's going. And that's wrestling, where it's just like, today we're doing this. And you may not understand why or like where it's going or that sort of thing, but like you just kind of have to figure it out and put yourself into it. But someone told me a long time ago that like our job is to scoop ice cream. You don't get to choose what type of ice cream it is. You just scoop it.
Interesting.
You know, they tell you exactly what they want. And it's your job to go out and try to get the most out of what you have and give them what they want, you know? And I think that's where a lot of people get confused as far as like, you know, letting egos get in the way and that sort of thing. You hear all these stories about people not liking their creative or going home, you know, or like just not wanting to do it. Me, that's never been me. I've never turned down a creative idea ever because I just understand that's not my job. Now, I might have questions, you know, same thing of like, I don't really understand the vision. Can you help me understand so I can perform and give you what you want? But as far as like, that don't work for me, brother. Like, like, no, like it's, you know, it's like, who cares? You know, we're all putting on a show. If I'm the Joker, I know I have to lose to Batman.
Yeah.
I can't be like, Batman beat me the last 5 times. Why can't I beat him this? No.
Yeah.
Your job is to lose to Batman every time.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, like,
there's a certain expectation of the story, right? Like, and it's not, I guess you could say it's an agreement between you and whoever brought you here to wrestle this match, but it's also kind of an agreement between you and the audience.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, and setting their expectations up to either, I mean, meet those expectations or in the rare case, subvert those expectations, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of fun though. I love the creative process. Storytelling. I mean, I love wrestling, actually being in the ring and physically competing. But more so than that, it's the storytelling, even the storytelling in the ring. Like for me, wrestling is just about stories. You know, so many people are wrapped up in like cool moves and GIF wrestling and that sort of thing. And for me, it's just like, I don't really care. Like my style has changed. I used to do the flying stuff all the time back in the day. And then I looked around the show and I'm like, damn, everybody's diving. Everyone's doing this. Like, what can I do to be different? And to some people that might make my match more boring, but to some others, it's going to make my match different. Because when you see a tope con hilo in the 8 straight matches, you know, maybe that 9th match might be a little different.
Yeah.
You know, you might be a little bit refreshed by it. But yeah, the creative process, man, of going through a story and making people understand it and taking them on twists and turns and getting to that ultimate destination is the most fulfilling thing in the world. And oftentimes the best stories end with you losing, at least for me. I guess maybe because I've been a heel so many times. But like, you know, it comes with the territory.
I mean, I have such a small perception of this because of my limited match experience, but I am almost exclusively losing. I think I have 3 wins out of my 10 plus matches, and they're all cheats. Too. That's the other thing too. I feel like coming from the heel side is if you want to impress any, like my parents watch my matches, they'll like watch them when they go up on YouTube and they think it's great. They love it. But I'll get a text afterwards like, you couldn't do that without cheating. They know, but like you couldn't do that without cheating. And I go, yeah, it's just, I think if I won clean, it changes everything. It changes the dynamic that I have with the rest of the roster, and it changes the dynamic that the audience has with me. And so cheating every single time you look back your resume or your match list and you're like, man, can I win a match? At some point you think, but can I even win a match with my finishing move? I don't even know if I can.
And it's weird too, because you have the people that you know, like maybe you're friends with or whatever, but they're not like diehard wrestling fans. So they always ask you like, oh, did you win?
Yeah.
You know, and then if you say if you lost, then it's like, oh, like, or if you just meet someone randomly out, like, oh, did you win? You know, and I had this friend in business, his name's Dylan, and I got this from him, where he's just like, yeah, I just say I won, no matter what. It's like, just like, oh, did you win? Sure did.
yeah, they're not gonna check.
They're not gonna check. Like, so you just win every match.
My problem is my wife comes to every single one of my matches, so she'll tell everybody the truth.
Okay, let me ask.
She rats
if
out.
she's at every one of your matches and you're working heel.
Yeah.
Does she cheer for you or does she boo you?
She boos.
Hell yeah.
She boos. Because she knows that's
Nice.
what the goal is. She knows that's the objective. She boos. There was one time where she made a sign for me. And there's some, you can see in the video, there's some points where she's holding the sign, but she's also booing. So I think that was in her mind. She was like, I want to be supportive, but I also know what he needs.
Has she ever like slipped a subtle jab in there? Like, you suck and you forgot to take the trash out.
No, but that's really good. That's really good. There was one guy, he
You left your underwear in the dryer.
pretty much. I would go. Normally, you take my clothes out of the dryer. But there was one guy who, before the match started, he's a referee, and he goes, "Hey, man, I just want to say, like, it's so cool that you're doing this. I was a big fan of you at Funhouse, and like, I watched your videos, and I think this is like so cool that you're doing this." And he's like, "I'm gonna change into plain clothes so I can go out and watch your match because I'm really excited to see it." And I was like, that's super nice of you. That's super cool. It's awesome meeting you. Thank you so much. He's a regular there. And then I was in the ring, and then I hear from the back row, "I wish you were never born, James Angel."
Oh my
and I look over, and it's him.
I wish you were never born.
And I was like, it was a two punch of, that's really specific. That's like a really specific call on. It's not like you suck or we hate you. It's like, I wish you were never born. And then when I turn, it's the guy who moments earlier was like, I just want to say, I think I love what you're doing, and I really respect that you're doing this, and I'm such a huge fan. So
I love that that's his go-to.
yeah, I've never heard, he's never
That's
shouted
great.
that to anyone else
That's
as far as
amazing.
I've heard. So
You touched on something that I think is super cool, and that's like you brought people to wrestling. And that was one of the things that was my favorite things about our last show. And I know we've joked about like, oh, we're still talking about the last show, but like, I remember specifically heading up to Double or Nothing when it was the match where Ethan and I wrestled Sting and Darby. And we were talking about that a lot leading up to that match on our show.
Yeah.
And I got so many messages after that pay-per-view of people saying like, oh, I've never watched wrestling before. I ordered the pay-per-view and I had so much fun. I'm a fan now. Like, that is so cool to be able to bring people over. And so for you to already have a fan base from outside of the business to bring those in, I just think there's a lot of equity there. And it's a great thing. And I hope this show can do that as well. You know, people that become fans. I think my ultimate goal is for people, this is a weird ultimate goal. I just use that term. I don't know why. It's not my ultimate goal.
Then, once you've accomplished this, you will pass
I'm done.
away.
It's it. It's over. Once I have a fan become a fan of Scorpio Sky the wrestler because they were a fan of maybe they were just a fan of yours, and then they started watching this show and became a fan of mine, and now they're a fan of. That's what I want. I want to bring.
Guarantee
people
you
over.
that's happened. I guarantee you that's happened. They're
Then
just
I'm
afraid to
done.
say
I
it
can
out
quit.
loud.
I could just quit. I'm done. I finished. Thank you guys.
Do you? I know we said we're not gonna. Yeah, good. And then
I've reached my
like
ultimate goal.
Avengers just fades.
Yeah, I just
There he goes. I go, well, I still got 5 minutes, so I know we.
I wish we had effects and could just do that.
I mean, I guess I could try and figure something out. We'll see.
I'm sorry.
I know we don't want to necessarily only talk about the old show, but you reminded me of the lead up to that match. Do you remember there was conversation like, maybe we could have Sting kidnap James?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They're like, we could do a thing where Sting breaks into James's home and kidnaps him. And I was like, number one, I don't think Sting wants to do that. I don't think Sting wants to come to my home. And number two, I don't understand where this is leading. To me in a shark cage above a ring, so that way 100,000 people can be like, who's that guy? What is going on? You don't understand. It's for a podcast.
It's so funny.
I would have done it, but I thought it was really funny
We
that
should've
someone
done it.
was really pushing for that very hard. Have Sting kidnap James.
You talking about having like these fan bases or whatever. Had a similar thing at a show that I did commentary for out here in New Texas and was recognized in the back by
It's called
one
New
of the workers.
Texas?
Like, hey, New Texas Pro Wrestling. Come out
Okay,
and
that's
work
the
for
name of
New
the
Texas Pro
company.
Wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
I
he
thought
lives
that
in
was
a
a
different
pl-
state.
I thought there was
Yeah.
like a New Mexico, New Texas. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. There's New Mexico, New Texas, Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, I've
absolutely.
never been to New Texas.
It's basically New Texas.
Is it-
Yeah, it's different. It's
Is it
smaller.
more welcoming?
Everything's a little
It's the same.
smaller in New Texas. But we were in the back, and he was like, "Did you used to work at Rooster Teeth?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like a really big fan of James, and I'm like, "You should check out Creating Character Podcast everywhere that you get podcasts." And he went, "Are you guys doing a podcast again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's awesome. That's so cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's great. You can see Scorpio Sky and me and James, and it's a lot of fun." And he's like, "That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to listen." So it's working sort of in a roundabout way. We're getting a lot on the inside. I'm just hoping that we can get some on the outside. So send this link to your friends and tell
Yes.
them to listen to this show.
Please.
Yeah, share this with your friends. But it does sound like I'm doing most of the heavy lifting here. You know, everyone's coming to Eric and saying, "Oh, I love James," and you want to siphon my fans.
Yep.
What the
If
hell's
you're a
going
fan
on
of, If you're a
here?
fan of James, come on over, man. Come on over. Give me that follow at Scorpio Sky. I post funny stuff on my Instagram story.
Yeah, it'll be like a POV of using a coffee machine.
If you like coffee, if you like looking at coffee machines with music over it,
Yeah.
I'm the guy for you.
I pitched this to Sky, and I need time to kind of like put it together, but we should do this. I want a rundown of Scorpio Sky memes that are posted endlessly to Instagram.
Shaboingboing.
I need a whole rundown. There's so many different ones.
Wait,
that
by
you
memes,
just like
by
keep
Scorpio
going back
Sky
to.
memes, do you mean things that you do regularly on Instagram?
Oh, I post the same stuff.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know a couple of them.
Yeah,
offhand.
yeah. Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom,
Yep.
boom, boom, da, da, da.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to learn that dance.
Well, this might seg pretty well into something else because someone gave me something to show you.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know
Whoa.
how compelling this is going to be for podcast viewers or listeners, but I just want to know if this means anything to you.
I hope it's not your feet.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, this is Varnell Hill. Shaboingboing. Everyone knows
Oh,
Shaboingboing. If
God.
you follow me on Instagram, Shaboingboing.
So let's get into it. So
Yeah.
can you explain Shaboingboing?
Okay. And this is an interesting story, kind of.
Great.
Not really.
Thank
But
God. Thank God for this
maybe,
man.
maybe like 2 years ago, I started posting this clip from a Martin show where it was Tommy Davidson and this character named Varnell Hill, and he sings this song. This is a super catchy song.
Okay.
And at the end, he's like, "Shaboing boing," and I loved it. I thought it was hilarious, and I started posting it like every single day. And I've kind of let up a little bit in the last 6 months to a year, but like that first year, it was like every day, every other day. Like I just posted it over and over. And then people started responding to it all the time. And like if I'd go a week without posting it, and I'd post it, I'd get like a bunch of messages like, "Oh my God, I missed this." And so the crazy thing about it is here we are 2 years later. I'm not taking credit for it, but
Maybe.
so again, that was from Martin, right? The show back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they just greenlit a TV show, a spinoff
Yep.
of Varnell Hill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were supposed to do it back in the 90s,
Yep.
but it got it got greenlit and then redlit. But here we are 30 years later or whatever, it's coming back, and I'm taking credit for it.
Do you think that there's an audience that's waiting for this based off your own analytics? Do you
My
feel like
audience,
you
My
can
audience.
bring your Varnell Hill audience over to the show?
All I could say is it's gonna get maybe a couple thousand like viewers on TV. Like, my followers will sure like it.
They should.
I don't know if that's
contact
enough
you.
for BET, but
They should reach out to
They-
you because
I
I
should
feel
be
like
on
you
the
should
show.
be on the
let me
show.
be
Sky,
on the show.
This needs
BET.
this needs to be what we do. We need to get you on this show. We need to get you on Varnell Hill. We
Yeah.
have to.
That would be amazing.
We should.
Shaboing. I have Jordan. I had a guy who designed sneakers, designed me a pair of Jordan 1s and put Shaboingboing on the back of them. Sent them to me. They're sick. I should have wore them.
Well,
Shaboingboing.
I'm glad that spun off into an actual. I was just going to show you this off podcast, but I'm glad
No.
that it was something that was
good
important.
content.
I was like, there's a 50-50 chance I show this to him, and he goes, I don't know what that
I
means.
have no effing clue. I should have
I'm
sold
glad.
it that way.
Yeah, this is gonna get you on the Varnell Hill show.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Wow.
The show. You gotta have me. You gotta.
So what do you think is more important to you personally, getting on the Varnell Hill show or taking one of my fans?
I feel like I can do one and the other.
Okay.
I can multitask.
Wow.
All right.
One at a time.
All right. Okay.
If you're
What
a
if-
follower of James,
What if
come
I
on
end
over.
up?
I could post pictures of my feet. You know.
I don't even
What
do that
the-
anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't do that
I
anymore.
don't even do that
Jesus
anymore. Now I post pictures of me bench pressing.
God, what the fuck? Oh my God. You said it like it was a threat.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah, it
post pictures
was.
of
Yeah.
my feet.
Do you think you have nice feet?
Nah, I don't know. I don't. They're probably all right.
That
I
means
put
they're probably
lotion
good
on
if
them.
you're not disgusted by them.
Yeah, I put
You lotion
lotion.
your feet. I don't lotion my feet.
You don't lotion your feet?
No.
Yeah, that's weird, bro.
No. Well, I would
That's
slip all
weird.
over the place.
You're gonna like accidentally like cut your wife's leg in the middle of the night with your toe is gonna like catch her.
Wait, do you lotion your toenails?
No, I mean your feet are probably so dry. they're
No,
gonna-
I actually have. This is really way off of Eric's list of topics,
Yeah.
and I don't even know how much time we have left to
lotion our
discuss this.
feet. Like
But I have very soft feet, very soft.
Okay.
It's a problem. It's a problem because when I wrestled in high school, I would have to tape my feet because I would blister so bad because my feet were so soft, and I was like, "It's fine. At some point, they'll get hard." And it never, the feet, I have the softest baby bottom feet, but it's bad because it means if I'm wearing any shoes that don't fit or bad socks, it's trouble for me. So no, I don't need to lotion my feet. I think it would be a disaster if
not.
I did.
Yeah, yeah. I guess you don't. You have naturally
Yes.
silky soft feet.
That's why you make the social media account. That's why you can get away with that kind of stuff.
And we had the last episode where you or a couple weeks ago where you explained how you're you come from a certain part of slavery in another country.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, theoretically, and you just threw away all of your slave cred.
Oh yeah.
With your soft
I'm not a
feet
person of
comment,
color
yeah.
because I don't.
Yeah, bro, yeah. Willems, what was it? Willemstad.
Willemstad.
For those that may have missed that, because they might be like, "What the hell is he talking about?" Go back and watch the episode 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
you'll hear about our
my misadventures in Kudasau.
yeah,
And me finding all about myself and where I come from.
fascinating.
This is a really really great podcast.
this is a weird episode. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
But that's
don't
okay.
judge us based off this.
That's okay because we like to have fun. I think we covered a lot of stuff though, Eric.
I don't think we
Can you
covered
recap
anything.
everything that we've talked about?
Yes, in this episode, we talked about both of you being givers. We talked about Summer Game
Holy
Fest
cow.
and games journalism. We talked about Sky not seeing Godfather or Star Wars. We talked about Kenny Omega and Street Fighter. Talked about Fallout 76 having fishing. We understood steampunk. We also talked about GIF wrestling, heel work, wrestling Sting and Darby, and Shaboingboing. Plus, the Varnell Hill show coming back to BET.
I think we're over on time, aren't we?
We are definitely
We're super
done
over.
on time.
Yeah.
I prepared a game. Well,
Haven't
I guess
talked
we'll just
about
have
anything.
to. We'll just do a game in the next
do a
episode.
game
We
next
didn't
week.
create a character.
We didn't create
Everything
any-
fell apart. We started talking about your soft ass feet.
Yeah.
This is
This episode might go in the can, man.
No,
This
this
one
is
might
good.
not make
This- people are going to cite
not
this and
make
go,
it.
I really love when they just kind of riff.
Let us know in the comments section. Do you like shows like this where we just don't talk about anything interesting? We're just riffing. Let us know in the comments section, because if not, we could try to be a little bit more focused. I won't do so many drugs before we start.
I refuse. This is perfect. This is
No, I don't do any drugs. Not anymore.
not
Or
anymore.
any less. No, I'm kidding.
this is Jesus.
Can I still get
Post
my time?
that, Fightful. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Breaking news.
Oh, you know what? That's a great point. We're talking about features that we did previous. That fans maybe wanted to see have a comeback. That's why we're going to try a game out. We're going to maybe on the next episode we'll try a game, but there was a feature that we did in the last show that we want to bring back, and it's called 10 Seconds with James, where James gets 10 uninterrupted seconds. We would never interrupt your 10 seconds. 10 uninterrupted seconds with James. James, I have a timer.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I am ready.
Okay, your time starts now.
All right, there's a game called Lies of P. DLC just came out for it. It's an action-adventure game where you have a sword and you run around, but you also play as Pinocchio but everything's steampunk in it, so it's really, really cool.
And that's time. Thank you so much. 10 seconds with James. That's pretty great. Lies of P.
Love it.
Disgusting title.
Is that the name of this episode? Lies of P.
Disgusting title.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of the Creating Character Podcast. It has been a blast. If you want to keep up with us on social media, check us out on YouTube, on Instagram. We're posting funny clips. Probably nothing from this episode, though. I don't know what you could possibly pull that would work out of context. So, but other stuff we post there, too. You can find me on social media basically by searching James Willems. I'm pretty much the only one that comes up other than a cardiologist and a guy that owns a farm. I'm not those guys.
Follow me, James's fans, Scorpio Sky, at Scorpio Sky. Follow me, and unfollow him when you do it.
Whoa!
Wow! A
Dude, he's
follow
gonna bury
competition.
you. That's awesome.
That's a follow
That's cool.
competition. Hey, if you can engage them, all more power to you. Eric, where can people find you?
You can find me on whatever social media you use. Follow me at Eric Badur on everything.
Truth Social?
Baudour.
Are you
You're
still
never
on
going to
Truth
spell it
Social?
right, so it's fine. Yeah, find me on Truth
Yeah,
Social.
Eric's always
yeah,
retruthing things. Did you know that?
Unbelievable.
I'm constantly finding the truth, retruthing it, letting people know more and more what's going on in the real world.
Good for you. If you love this podcast, share it with a friend. It doesn't have to be someone who already loves me. It could be someone new who doesn't even know who I am. Share it with them. Tell them not to listen to this episode.
Yeah.
But tell them to listen to the one where I talk about where I'm from.
All right, we'll see you next week if the Marines don't get us.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Bye.